Hi, I'm Acacia Temple. Thanks so much for your time with this grant. So you don't get too confused, I'm a transgender woman, and some of this video here is of my previous gender, so you don't get too confused there. I'm also autistic, so I've actually done this grant video and all the rest of it by myself, so in case it gets a little bit too wobbly, please have patience. First I'll start off with the name, Chapter 2. Last year my dad died of brain cancer, and a few days before he died he said to me, this is the end of one chapter and the start of the next chapter. So I'm breaking this into two chapters, Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. First I'm going to play Chapter 1, which is of my past, all the work I've done, etc. And then we're going to go into Chapter 2, which is all about this grant, the new chapter, the new start. Since I was 4, my fingers learned to speak through the keys. Being born autistic, it was my only way of speaking, expressing, touching the strange world outside. Music was my survival, my voice and my friend. I moved to Melbourne in 1998 and was soon working with the LGBTIQ community doing cabaret and jazz. I was then fortunate to work with people in the community that I knew best. Being autistic and having an ABI, I could work well writing music and performing with fellow participants in the disabled community. I was MC and artist in residence for Club Wild for 11 years. Through this we toured through Victoria and New South Wales running workshops, writing music, film clips, doing bands and running big shows. In 2010 I went on my own, working with people with an ABI, mostly from car accidents. What was unique about these workshops is that I had also been in the same rehab, and we could write about what we experienced. With the album was also a group of young autistic adults, and throughout the years we finished 5 albums.
It's true that sunshine comes after rain. It's true that...
For over a year I worked with Cookie. She had C2 quadriplegia since an accident when she was 3. She was a great lyricist, and I developed a way of recording thousands of part vocals so we could create an album.
The time you were here, you will never forget. You will fight to reach your destiny, and it will be the beginning, but never the end, the end.
When we released her album in North Melbourne, it was a dream that she thought was out of reach. I worked for Arts Access Victoria as a geek in residence and videographer for 6 years. I was missing being an artist though. And a year and a half ago, went out on my own running community workshops with people from the LGBTIQ community who have a disability or experience of mental health. This led to some powerful short films and gave me a yearning to get back into music with the short film workshops.
Most of the time, I just say I'm agender, which is lack of gender, and that seems to work well.
I was like, I need help. What am I doing? How do I exist? And someone was like, hey, there's more than 2 genders. And I was like, whoa, you what?
So this is a brief history of me. Now let's get on with the grant. So I've broken this up into 2 different sections. Acacia the musician and Acacia the community artist. About 5 years ago, I finally came out about being sexually abused as a child and went through the Royal Commission. I realised that about 20 years beforehand, I used to write a lot of music about how I felt inside. I couldn't say anything, so I wrote it through music. This song here is called Bittersweet. It's about being touched.
Slowly touch me, my body aching. Slowly feel me, my body sense.
I used to play this again and again with my headphones. It was like screaming on top of a mountain.
Oh, shaking man, drink this wine. Stir my desire, just stop the time. For I'm lost longer, I'll show you the way. I'll drench my soul, but tonight, just stay. Hold me now.
Where is the love?
I sin too deep.
Where is my faith?
I cry for love.
I've lost the tear.
Hide and see.
It's all about the journey.
It's nearly 20 years later now after I wrote that, and I'd actually like to re-look at it now as a woman and rewrite it. And it's going to be amazing with this grant that I'm able to work with other composers and other arrangers, especially a woman who is a composer-arranger, and rearrange this totally fresh. So as I'm writing this grant, my partner and I packed up from Hoppers Crossing, Melbourne, and we moved to Ballarat. And in Ballarat, I'm starting something completely new. And this is like a brand new chapter for me. With this grant, one of the main things is for me to build up my confidence as a woman and as an artist.
Yeah, perfect.